What's going on, Legends? It's your boy Errl Shatter here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how Modern Warfare changed the future for Call of Duty. Basically, at least as far as we can see, and honestly, it's done quite a few things that are good. Some of these things are not, 100% positive. Some things we might not enjoy whatsoever, but it is good to talk about and address what things, obviously Modern Warfare has done for the franchise going forward, whether it be positive or negative. Now, before we jump into the rest of the video, if you guys do enjoy this content at any time, make sure you show your support for the channel by going down below and smashing that like button. Go ahead and throw an easy goal of 20 likes on today's video, as well as if you guys want to find your way back to the channel for more Modern Warfare, Warzone, or Cold War content once that releases, make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button alongside that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. Like I said, today in our video, we're going to be talking about the things that Modern Warfare has done to affect the future of Call of Duty or overall change the game going forward. And the first thing we have to talk about is Warzone. Although Warzone is not the first battle royale for Call of Duty, since we had Blackout last year with Black Ops 4, it is, however, a little bit different in the sense that it introduced free-to-play. This is going to allow anyone to download the game and jump out into the action, whether they own Modern Warfare or not. This is huge for the Call of Duty franchise. Free-to-play means more players playing frequently, and it also might lead to more people actually buying the overall regular version of the game. And obviously going forward, might even get more people to purchase Cold War. Now, free-to-play is huge. Obviously, we've seen upwards to 75+ million people playing this game actively, or just throughout the time since it's been available. And that's insane. Those are huge numbers for Call of Duty. It's not something I would have ever seen happening. And it could also lead to, in the future, being able to get the full version of the game out of free-to-play. Who knows? Maybe multiplayer will be free-to-play one day. Maybe the whole game will be free-to-play. Maybe you'll just pay for certain aspects. It's hard to say what the future holds. Now, the second thing that we're going to be mentioning is DLC maps. Now we have free DLC. In the past, you had to purchase a season pass, which generally was a part of the game if you purchased like a $100 bundle. And you were obviously given the multiplayer maps that were coming out throughout the rest of the year after the game's release. You were getting sometimes a lot of remastered maps. I think overall, you just kind of, the more the years went by and the season passes were out, the more lackluster it felt like it kind of was, and kind of overall frustrating. Because like I said, you were paying for basically remastered maps. There was just a lot of content you felt like they could have just added to the game or given to us for cost-free, essentially. Now, that's exactly where we're at now. We get free DLC maps. It's available to everyone. It's available to all consoles at the same time. Exclusivity really doesn't play a role. It's huge. So going forward, there's no more season pass. There's no more I have to buy an extra version of the game or an additional version. It's better than the obviously regular standard edition in order to get access to these new maps that they drop or just new content in general. Huge move for Call of Duty. I'm glad we're moving forward and getting away from that. The third thing today is going to be crossplay. Now, this is absolutely insane. Some people may not be, super hyped on crossplay. It was something I was never really, anticipating happening for quite some time at least, just because of the fact that, there is, issues between the consoles. There's kind of a console war that exists, and then not so much against the PC, but I think there was overall a hesitation just because people on PC have higher frame rates, mouse and keyboard, etc. Some people just felt like their advantage was just held in the PC lobbies or just in PC in general. So not a lot of people were interested in crossplay, but here it is. They finally brought it to us, and overall I think it's been huge for the game. It obviously increases player counts, gets us into more lobbies, and honestly, personally it doesn't bother me at all to play against mouse and keyboard players, as long as there's some balance to the lobbies, and we have aim assist on controller. I think it's kind of overall as good as it's going to get, and I'm all about populating the game. And I think it's huge for Call of Duty going forward. And obviously, if you guys played Cold War at all throughout the alpha or the beta, you know that we obviously still have crossplay implemented into that game. So it looks like something that's changed going forward, and I anticipate it'll be a part of the franchise probably for the foreseeable future, if not forever. The fourth thing I want to mention, it's actually pretty cool for Call of Duty, is with Warzone, they've been able to implement in-game events quite a while back at this point. We did get an in-game trailer for Call of Duty Cold War, and that trailer was done through an in-game event. You had to do a couple of different tasks, and then you were able to obviously get to see the trailer. So that was really cool for them to do. It was a great way for them to kind of reveal the new game, and it's just something different for Call of Duty in general. On top of that, we now have the Haunting of Verdansk event, which is overall changed the map to be a little bit Halloween themed. Obviously we have night mode now, so playing Warzone at night is pretty cool. And then obviously you get the Zombie Royale mode, which isn't technically new, as they did have a very similar mode in Blackout. However, overall, the events are really cool so far for Warzone. I'm really excited to see where they take this in the future. Call of Duty Modern Warfare implemented seasons. Now this is huge for creating, a streamline of how often content's going to come out. It gave them more of a timeline. We're going to see things more consistently. It's not all bunched up and tossed out all at once, and it kind of feels like you get a little bit more out of it. It kind of expands, the content, allowing us to feel like we're getting more fresh items at a more consistent rate. This is also really cool because it obviously allows them to change the pace of the game, whereas in the past it was just whenever they decided to do updates. This kind of forces more consistent updates. Maybe it's changing the metas, maybe it's just implementing new content, new weapons. All of that stuff is huge for the game. It kind of keeps the game fresh. The other thing that's different is with these seasons, we have been given new DLC weapons. These DLC weapons are a part of the Battle Pass, which technically, again, Battle Pass is not something new or implemented with Modern Warfare specifically. It did exist in the past with Blackout and Black Ops 4. So not necessarily new, but in the aspect of the fact that you can actually earn your DLC weapons for free throughout the time that this season is available. And then once that season does expire and we move on to a new season, you are still able to unlock those past season weapons via a simple challenge. And that's really cool. It gives us access to not only being able to get those weapons for free, but if you do miss some of that content, or maybe you jumping into the game later in the year, you do still have the access to be able to go back and get those weapons. Especially if it's something really good, like maybe the Grau 556. It would be kind of disappointing to join the game late or just have never unlocked it and just have no access to being able to get it, since it is such a solid, reliable weapon. Something huge that is going to be obviously implemented into Cold War as well is going to be the Gunsmith. This changed the game of how customizing attachments work completely, maybe overall mix and matching blueprints, but the big thing is how many attachments you're able to actually equip on a weapon. In the past, you were limited in many different ways, and with this, you are a little bit less limited. You're able to kind of see the different variations of attachments that work well, and it allows you to build the weapon the exact way you want to fit your certain playstyle. Another part of the Gunsmith is now attachments do have negatives. They're not always positive, which is a different path for Call of Duty. In the past, all weapons basically would have positives. You had to choose which positives you wanted, and none of those attachments really had any negatives at all. It is a change of pace, not necessarily a negative one, but it is different to have, positives and negatives for each of your attachments and having to make those choices based on that. A huge change that happened here with Modern Warfare that some might be cool with, others are very frustrated with. Personally, myself, I really do miss having Prestige mode. Now, Prestige mode was taken away this year and was replaced by seasonal levels. So like the seasons that we talked about previously, they are basically broken down into, about 60-day time frames, where you would start at level 55 once you hit that, and you would be able to work your way from 55 to 155, giving you 100 levels to work through as the season progressed. Then once you hit maximum level, you really have no progression, nothing really to show for it, and you kind of just have to wait for the next season to kind of reset. I think in Cold War, the seasonal levels will continue. This is something I could probably see going into future Call of Duties for some time now. And honestly, I do think, though, there will be some sort of hybrid addition to not only your seasonal level, but maybe an overall level. And I'm really, really hoping that we see Prestige mode back. That was really a fun way to kind of keep yourself interested in the game, grinding further, going for higher levels, or maybe just overall going for that Master Prestige. A major change that happened as well during Modern Warfare is how overkill works. Now in the past, overkill allowed you to, of course, have a primary weapon and then a secondary weapon of primary nature. So you could put a second AR, SMG, LMG, whatever your weapon of choosing might be. However, you would be limited on attachments on that second weapon. Here in Modern Warfare, limitations have been changed. You now are allowed to have a fully equipped primary weapon, as well as a secondary weapon that you can choose, again, an assault rifle, SMG, LMG, or whatever, and you're able to fully equip that weapon as well. So now with Overkill, you do have a little bit of a boost. You are able to have 2 fully equipped weapons, no limitations on attachments besides the regular limitations. And going into Cold War, this is kind of a very similar thing. Did get a little bit more of a buff because now it's no longer just a perk. You put on what you call a wild card, which allows you to choose one of the options they have. One of those options is Lawbreaker, which is basically Overkill. It's not taking a perk slot up anymore, so you're still able to run whatever perks you want, whether it's Ghost, Ninja, doesn't matter. You're able to use all your perks at free range while still being able to have access to Overkill. And again, you are able to have 5 attachments in general on your weapon by default without having, obviously, Gunfighter. You're going to be able to put 5 attachments on your primary, and 5 attachments on your secondary, which then can be a primary weapon such as assault rifles, SMGs, LMGs, etc. Honestly, overkill is insanely different. I don't know how much I like it as powerful as it is, but it is something that has changed, and I don't see it changing back anytime soon. Now, the last topic I want to mention that's absolutely changed, especially here with Modern Warfare, Warzone, and definitely for the foreseeable future, is skill-based matchmaking. Now, there is obviously all these different opinions on it. We're not here to talk about whether or not it's good or bad. We're just here to discuss the fact that it has existed in the past based on what some of the developers have claimed, and apparently it's existed all along. However, with Modern Warfare, they have tuned it up huge. It is extremely noticeable. You can obviously tell by reverse boosting. You can get into lower skilled lobbies. Across the board, skill-based matchmaking feels more relevant than ever. There's definitely something that they've changed to make it stronger. In Cold War, in the alpha we saw, in the beta we definitely saw it, and I expect to see it in the full release of the game. It's not something that's going anywhere anytime soon, unless they decide to make a huge change, which will of course affect their revenue, so I don't actually foresee them doing this whatsoever. So it's safe to say skill-based matchmaking is here to stay. I really wish they would tune it down a little bit. However, this is something Modern Warfare's changed. It's something that they see is effective, and I don't see them changing it anytime soon. That's going to wrap things up for today's video. If you guys did enjoy this content at any time, make sure you guys show your support for the channel by going down below and smashing that like button. Remember, we have that goal of 20 likes on today's video. Also, if you guys are interested in finding my way back to the channel for more Modern Warfare, Warzone, or Cold War content once that releases, make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button alongside that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Appreciate you guys for all the support in today's video, all the support on the channel, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace!